Before the world spoke of revelation, there was Enoch. His prophecy, his visions of the end times, hidden in the shadows, buried in forgotten books, whispered only by those who dared to search the forbidden scriptures. The book of Enoch was cast aside, banned from most Bibles, yet preserved in the Ethiopian Bible like a secret waiting for the chosen one. Why was this prophecy silenced? Why were these words feared more than the devil himself? Could it be because inside them lies the truth of the chosen generation, sealed not with ink, but with the fire of God? Imagine this: a prophet who never tasted death, who walked with God until he vanished, leaving behind visions so terrifying, so powerful, they shook the foundation of kingdoms. In his scrolls he saw you, the scars you carry, the dreams you cannot explain, the hunger inside your soul that no pleasure or success can satisfy. They told you it was imagination, but Enoch told us it was memory, eternity planted in your heart. Why do you feel like you never belonged to Babylon, never fit the molds of this world? Why have you endured loneliness, betrayal, and the fire of rejection? Could it be because you were marked, sealed for a time such as this? In this video, we will uncover why the Book of Enoch reveals secrets about your identity, how generational battles are assigned, why your pain is a prophetic fire, and how the chosen ones rise to disrupt Babylon's counterfeit systems. So I ask you, if you believe you might be one of the chosen, what signs have you seen in your own life? Comment below, because your voice matters in this generation. And if these words stir your soul, subscribe and like this message, not for me, but so this prophecy spreads to every hidden warrior waiting to awaken. Enoch and the Forgotten Book. The Book of Enoch is not just a relic of ancient parchment. It is a blazing torch hidden beneath centuries of dust, waiting for the moment it would set hearts on fire again. Mentioned in Genesis, remembered in Jude, honored by early Christians like Barnabas and Tertullian, yet later banned, silenced, buried by councils that feared its power. Why? Because inside its pages lies a vision of the end times, a vision of the chosen generation, a vision so dangerous to the powers of Babylon that they tried to erase it from history. Yet what is hidden by man is preserved by God. Ethiopia, the land that still carries the Ethiopian Bible, guarded Enoch's voice when Rome declared it forbidden. Imagine the courage of those who copied the words in caves, those who carried the scrolls through deserts, those who whispered the prophecies even when death hovered above them. This book was not lost. It was sealed, waiting for you. That is the pattern of God. Noah sealed in the ark, Moses hidden in a basket, Daniel sealed in a lion's den. What the world calls forgotten, heaven calls preserved. And so the lesson emerges. If the Book of Enoch was rejected yet destined to rise again, perhaps your own rejection is not a curse, but a seal. Maybe the times you felt unseen, unheard, discarded were not the end of your story, but the beginning of your prophecy. When others told you that your dreams were delusions, they did not know that Enoch already spoke of a generation who would awaken with memory burning in their bones. That generation is now. That generation is you. So consider this. If a whole book could be erased from the Bible and yet return with unstoppable force, what about you? Have you mistaken silence for absence? Have you confused delay with denial? Or are you beginning to sense that heaven has preserved you for a time such as this? Leave your thoughts in the comments. because your journey may unlock the courage for someone else who feels forgotten. The seal of the chosen. From the beginning, God marked his people. In Egypt, the blood of the lamb on the doorpost was a seal of protection. In Revelation, angels place the seal of God upon the foreheads of the faithful. In Ephesians, Paul says believers are sealed with the Holy Spirit. To be sealed is to be hidden under divine protection until the appointed time. This is not a symbol of weakness, it is a sign of sacred ownership. Think about Noah, mocked for building an ark in the dry land, sealed inside when the storm came. Think of Daniel thrown into the den, yet the lion's mouth sealed by an angel. Think of Jesus, rejected by the masses, yet sealed in the tomb only to burst forth with resurrection power. Over and over, the seal is not a mark of defeat, but the announcement of destiny. You, too, carry marks. Scars from betrayal, loneliness from years of walking apart, dreams too vivid to explain. The world calls these wounds. Heaven calls them seals. What the enemy tried to use as proof of your abandonment is actually evidence of your assignment. You were hidden, not forgotten. You were sealed, not silenced. Yet here lies the mistake many make. They think rejection means God has turned away. They think the delay is punishment. But delay is training. Silence is strengthening. The hidden season is consecration. The seed that disappears beneath the soil is not dead, it is sealed until it bursts into life. So what does this mean for you? It means you cannot measure your worth by how others treat you. You cannot measure your calling by the approval of Babylon. You are sealed for something higher. And one day, when the world least expects it, the seal will break, and the chosen will rise. Let your scars testify, let your silence strengthen you, and let your hidden season prepare you for unveiling. If you feel that seal upon your life, write it in the comments, because your testimony is not just yours. It is a beacon for someone else, sealed in silence, waiting to rise. Loneliness as consecration. Prophets have always been lonely. Jeremiah, called the weeping prophet, lived misunderstood and despised. Elijah, after calling fire down from heaven, hid in caves, despairing and alone. John the Baptist, clothed in camel hair, crying in the wilderness, was dismissed as mad by his generation. Even Jesus, at the height of his ministry, often withdrew to solitary places to pray. Loneliness is not exile, it is consecration. When you feel the ache of isolation, it is not a curse, but a calling. This is the furnace where the chosen are forged. While the world craves the applause of crowds, heaven shapes warriors in silence. Babylon tells you that your worth is measured by likes, followers, or approval. But the Bible whispers a deeper truth. Those who walk with God rarely walk with the crowd. Think of it. Noah was alone in obedience when the world laughed at his ark. Moses was alone on the mountain when the glory of God descended. Jesus was alone in Gethsemane, sweating blood while his closest friends fell asleep. The chosen do not find comfort in numbers, they find strength in communion with the one who called them. So what if your loneliness is not a punishment but preparation? What if your isolation is God's way of cutting away the noise so you can finally hear his voice? The very feeling you have cursed could be the sign that you are set apart. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it aches. But every scar sanctifies you, every silent night seals you, every tear baptizes you into the fire of calling. Here is the lesson. Embrace the wilderness, for it is there the prophets receive visions. Cherish the silence, for it is there God whispers destiny. Do not despise your loneliness. It is not the absence of people, but the presence of consecration. So let me ask you, how has loneliness shaped your spirit? How have the caves of despair carved strength into your soul? Share your journey in the comments, because your wilderness might be the confirmation another chosen soul needs to endure. And as we move forward, remember, loneliness is not the end of the story. It is the holy ground where destiny begins to speak. The awakening of remembrance. Deep within every chosen soul burns a memory that does not belong to this world. It is not learned in classrooms, not taught by preachers, not written in textbooks. It is the divine echo of eternity placed in your heart. The whisper of Ecclesiastes 3:11. God has set eternity in the human soul. This is why the chosen ones often feel as if they are remembering rather than discovering. They awaken not through study, but through remembrance. Have you ever walked into a place for the first time yet felt as though you had stood there centuries before? Have you ever dreamed a dream so vivid it felt like a continuation of a story you had forgotten? This is the seal of Enoch's prophecy. The chosen do not stumble upon their mission. They remember it in flashes of déjà vu, in prophetic dreams, in the restless hunger of their spirit. Samuel, as a boy, heard a voice calling his name in the night. He thought it was Eli, but it was God awakening memory. Joseph dreamed of stars bowing before him long before Pharaoh placed a crown on his head. These dreams were not new instructions. They were ancient memories igniting in their spirit. And you, yes, you, carry those same signals. The late-night thoughts that shake you awake, the sense of not fitting into Babylon's systems, the way your heart aches when you see injustice. These are not random. They are reminders. They are your eternal identity pressing through the veil of time. The mistake many make is dismissing these signs. They label them anxiety, imagination, coincidence. But the chosen know better. They recognize the patterns of God weaving through their days. They see the divine hand in the impossible alignments, the accidental meetings, the recurring numbers, the strange fire of spiritual hunger. This awakening is not madness, it is memory. And when the remembrance begins, nothing in Babylon can satisfy you anymore. So let me ask you, what dreams have haunted you? What visions keep returning when you close your eyes? Write them in the comments, because your memory may ignite the memory of another. This is the awakening of remembrance, and once it begins, you cannot go back. You can only go forward into destiny, bloodlines, and generational assignments. God does not move randomly. He moves through families, through generations, through bloodlines marked for destiny. Abraham was promised nations, and that promise passed to Isaac, then Jacob, then the tribes of Israel. Exodus 34:7 reveals the truth. Generational iniquities may linger, but so do generational promises. This is why some of your battles feel older than you. You are not only fighting for yourself, you are standing in the gap for your ancestors, your children, your descendants yet unborn. Consider Joseph. Betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, thrown into prison, he carried the weight of saving not just himself, but his entire family. When famine struck, it was Joseph's endurance that preserved the bloodline of Israel. He bore pain not for punishment, but for preservation. Many of you carry the same burden. You face cycles of addiction, abuse, poverty, rejection, not because you are cursed, but because you are chosen to end the curse. In today's world, look around and you will see this truth. A daughter breaks the chain of abuse that scarred her mother and grandmother. A son breaks the grip of poverty by building with wisdom where his ancestors had none. A family plagued by silence finds a voice through one who dares to speak. This is the hidden weight of the chosen. You are called not just for your own breakthrough, but for generational redemption. The mistake is believing your battles are meaningless. They are not. They are assignments. Your tears are currency. Your endurance is inheritance. Your scars are scrolls of prophecy. You are the bridge between what was broken and what will be restored. This is why the warfare is so fierce. Because you are not only rewriting your story, you are rewriting the story of generations. And here lies the healing truth. Every time you resist the pull of Babylon, you set your children free. Every time you say yes to holiness, you redeem what your ancestors lost. Every prayer you pray echoes through your lineage. You are the living proof that God keeps covenant across bloodlines. Comment below if you feel the weight of generational battles because your testimony may break chains in someone else's family. Pain as prophetic fire. The chosen do not rise in comfort. They are forged in fire. Pain is not punishment, it is preparation. Look at Joseph again. His betrayal, his slavery, his prison. Every wound carved the wisdom that would one day make him governor. Without the pit, there would be no palace. Without the betrayal, there would be no blessing. Look at Jesus. The cross was agony, humiliation, blood and nails. But from that pain came the redemption of all humanity. The crown of thorns became the crown of glory. Your pain, too, carries prophecy. Every heartbreak, every rejection, every failure has not come to destroy you, but to train your discernment, sharpen your spirit, and ignite your authority. Those who have walked through betrayal know how to recognize liars. Those who have survived loneliness know how to comfort the broken. Those who have endured rejection carry authority to lift the rejected. Your scars are not weaknesses, they are signatures of heaven's training. Think about your own life. The divorce that almost shattered you may be the very story that brings healing to another. The rejection you endured may be the very power that gives you compassion to lift the next generation. The nights you thought you would not survive are the very fuel for the fire of your calling. Pain refines. Pain transforms. Pain is prophetic fire. And here is the lesson. Do not despise your scars. They are not ugly. They glow with prophecy. They testify that you survived what should have destroyed you. They declare that Babylon could not break you. They announce that you carry authority in the very area where you were once broken. So let me ask you, what scars do you carry? What pain has shaped your vision? Share it in the comments, because your fire may light the flame for another soul lost in darkness. This is the mystery of God's kingdom. The very wounds the enemy used to silence you become the weapons you wield to deliver others. And so we move forward, from remembrance to bloodlines to pain, each step building, each truth sharpening, each scar transforming. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, you were remembered, sealed, assigned, and refined by fire. Disruptors of Babylon. Babylon has always been more than a city. It is a system, a seductive empire built on pride, corruption, and counterfeit power. From Genesis to Revelation, Babylon represents every structure that exalts itself above God. And the chosen cannot blend into Babylon, they disrupt it. Daniel, taken captive into Babylon, refused to eat the king's food, choosing consecration over compromise. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood before the fiery furnace rather than bow to an idol. Jesus walked into the temple, overturned the tables of greedy merchants, and declared, "My Father's house is a house of prayer." Their very presence disrupted falsehood, and so it is with you. When you walk into a room carrying truth, lies begin to tremble. When you speak with integrity, corruption begins to crumble. When you carry compassion in a world addicted to cruelty, you expose the emptiness of Babylon's systems. You do not even need to fight with swords. Your light is confrontation enough. The mistake many make is thinking faithfulness equals conformity. Blend in, keep quiet, never cause trouble. But that is Babylon's lie. Faithfulness in Scripture has always been rebellion against corruption. Moses confronted Pharaoh, Elijah confronted Ahab, John the Baptist confronted Herod. These disruptors were not loved by the system, but they were chosen by heaven. Look at our modern world. Babylon still thrives. Systems of greed, media built on deception, culture worshipping idols of fame, power, and self. And when you refuse to bow, when you choose purity in a culture of corruption, you disrupt. When you stand for justice in a world that silences victims, you disrupt. When you speak of the Book of Enoch, when you remember the visions of the end times that the world tried to erase, you disrupt the narrative Babylon built. Do not be surprised when Babylon resists you. It resisted Daniel, it resisted Jesus, it resisted every prophet who came before. Resistance is proof of calling. You are not here to fit in, you are here to break cycles. You are not here to bow, you are here to stand. This is why the chosen often feel like misfits in their workplaces, outsiders in their own families, strangers even in churches bound by tradition. But remember, the ark was built by a misfit, the Exodus was led by a fugitive, and salvation came through a carpenter rejected by his own. And the lesson is clear. If you feel you cannot belong in Babylon, it is because you were not made for Babylon. You were born to disrupt it. Let your life be the stone that topples giants, the spark that lights revival, the whisper that silences lies. And I ask you, where have you seen Babylon's systems try to silence your voice? Comment below, because your disruption may encourage another chosen one to rise and resist. The unveiling of true identity. Every chosen one carries two names, the one the world gives and the one heaven whispers. Revelation 2:17 says that to the overcomer God will give a white stone with a new name written upon it, known only to the one who receives it. This name is not a label of rejection, it is an identity of authority. The world may call you broken, too sensitive, too strange, too much, or not enough. But heaven calls you chosen, sealed, mighty. Think of Gideon. Hiding in fear, threshing wheat in secret, he called himself the least of his family, the weakest in his tribe. Yet heaven interrupted his fear with truth. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. The identity of heaven shattered the label of man. Think of Peter. A fisherman prone to failure, he denied Jesus 3 times. Yet Jesus restored him with a new commission. Feed my sheep. Think of Saul, a persecutor, feared by Christians, yet heaven renamed him Paul, apostle to the nations. So it is with you. Every scar you carry, every rejection you have endured, has tried to write false names on your soul. Unworthy, forgotten, failure. But heaven has prepared a stone with your true name etched into eternity. And when that name is unveiled, it carries authority Babylon cannot erase. It calls you not what you were, but what you were always meant to be. The mistake many make is clinging to false labels. They let rejection define them. They let betrayal shape them. They let Babylon dictate their worth. But the truth is this: man's rejection is irrelevant when heaven has already written your name. Your destiny is not determined by critics. It is sealed by God. In our world today, countless people are crushed under labels. Mental illness becomes identity. Poverty becomes destiny. Failure becomes prophecy. But the chosen know better. They rise not in denial of their pain, but in the unveiling of their true identity. They declare, I am not what the world says I am. I am who heaven declares me to be. Here lies the healing lesson. Do not wait for man's permission to walk in heaven's name. Do not wait for the approval of Babylon to claim your destiny. Your true name carries weight even before the world sees it. Your scars, your struggles, your survival, they are not your shame. They are your testimony. They are the backdrop against which your true identity shines brighter. So I ask you, what false names have tried to define you? Which lies have tried to bury you? Speak them out in the comments, not as chains, but as broken labels, so that others may see how heaven can rewrite a life. And let your heart remember, when the world sees brokenness, heaven sees a mighty warrior. When the world sees failure, heaven sees a chosen one. When the world sees silence, heaven hears destiny. And as this truth unfolds, you begin to see it clearly. You were never meant to be swallowed by Babylon's lies. You were always meant to rise with heaven's name carved upon your soul. The book of Enoch spoke of a generation that would rise, a people hidden in plain sight, carrying the seal of God, marked not by the approval of Babylon, but by the fire of heaven. You have walked through the wilderness of loneliness. You have endured scars that burn like prophecy, and you have remembered visions in your dreams that no one else could explain. This is not accident. This is not coincidence. This is the whisper of eternity in your heart, the sign that you are one of the chosen ones Enoch foresaw. And as you hear these words, something inside you already knows. It is not learning, it is remembrance. Look around at the world. Systems built on lies crumble even as they pretend to stand tall. Babylon dresses itself in gold, but beneath the glitter, it is empty, hollow, fragile. You were not made to bow to this counterfeit kingdom. You were made to disrupt it, to walk into its temples of greed and overturn tables with the authority of truth. Your scars shine brighter than its towers. Your prayers echo louder than its armies. Your very presence carries the weight of heaven's name, a name written on a white stone, waiting to be revealed. There will be resistance. There will be nights when you feel the seal has locked you away forever. But do not mistake hiddenness for abandonment. Remember Noah, sealed inside the ark until the storm passed. Remember Daniel, sealed in the den until the lions grew silent. Remember Jesus, sealed in the tomb until the stone rolled away. Every seal is a promise waiting to break open. And when it does, the world will see what heaven already declared. You are chosen, you are mighty, you are marked for such a time as this. This is why your pain has been so sharp, why your trials have felt unbearable. Prophetic fire is never comfortable, but it is always purposeful. Your heartbreak has become wisdom. Your rejection has become authority. Your scars are no longer signs of defeat. They are the proof that Babylon could not destroy you. And when others look at you and see only weakness, heaven sees a warrior who was forged in silence, refined by fire, awakened by remembrance. So let your life become testimony. Let your story be written in the comments below, because every voice matters. What visions have you remembered? What scars have become your strength? Which battles have marked your bloodline, and which victories have broken chains for your family? Share them, because your story is the spark that could ignite another chosen soul trapped in doubt. Let the community of the chosen rise, not in isolation, but in witness, each voice strengthening the other until the chorus becomes unstoppable. And if these words stirred your spirit, if they brought light to your darkness or healing to your heart, I invite you to stay with this journey. Subscribe so you will not miss what is coming. Like this video if you felt the fire inside you reignite, because that simple act tells the unseen ones watching that they are not alone. Leave your comments, your questions, even your disagreements, because discussion sharpens faith. Do not just watch in silence. Rise in participation, because every chosen one carries a piece of the greater vision. If you feel this message has carried value to your soul, if it has helped you glimpse the light in the middle of your shadowed days, then I ask you to support with whatever energy you can. Not because I need applause, but because every ounce of energy fuels the spreading of these words to others who are still searching in darkness. Every small act, every gesture of support is priceless. It is not about numbers, it is about souls, about carrying truth where it has been silenced. From the depths of my heart, thank you for being part of this journey. Remember, you were not forgotten. You were foreseen. You were not abandoned. You were sealed. You were not broken. You were being prepared. And now, as the world trembles, it is time for the chosen to awaken. You are not waiting for the sign. You are the sign. Stand, rise, speak, live. The prophecy is alive in you. And though Babylon may rage, heaven has already spoken. You were seen, you were sealed, and now you must rise.